This is Field of Dreams. My name is Steve David, and I'm your host. Today, as usual, we talk football, and today we talk Super League football. And I've got a panel, 4 gentlemen, who would take us through the ins and outs, or the good or the bad, with the Super League. Let me take time to introduce our panel. To my left, right next to me, is my co-host, Narada Wilson. Say hi, Narada.
Hi. To the viewers, it's always a pleasure to be here. This discussion today would be with the second tier football in Trinidad and Tobago, and hope to have a good discussion with these 3 gentlemen.
Okay, and next to Narada, going down the line, we have Anthony. Anthony, you Anthony Haynes, right?
Yes, Anthony Haynes.
Tell the viewers who Anthony Haynes is.
Anthony Haynes is a humble youth from the village of Sapaya. Grew up loving football, playing in the professional league. And decide, well, they give back some community service and the youngsters coming up.
Okay, and he's giving that back to the community. I like that. Okay, and next to Anthony, we have Jefferson George. And Jefferson, you with Queen's Park?
Queen's Park.
Okay, and reserve, not reserve, reserve coach?
This, I'm the assistant coach. Yeah,
assistant coach at Queen's Park. And tell him who Jefferson George is.
Jefferson George, former goalkeeper. Had the opportunity to play professionally right here, Trinidad with Delview Connection. Represented national U20 Olympic team. Also had some senior team selections.
Okay, welcome to the set as well. And next to Jefferson, we have the ever popular, our national captain, and a whole bunch of other credentials that go with it, Clayton Morris. Clayton, say hi to the viewers.
Hi, I'm Clayton Morris, as Steve just mentioned. We're in the cap of the coach of UTT. And unlike the Spurs and Queen's Park, we are in the championship division, the league just below the Super League.
Okay, okay. Welcome all of you guys to the set, man. And we're gonna just have like a barbershop discussion on, well, is the Super League, whether it's this other tier or the highest group, whoever. But we just talk about football and things that we think is bad or good, or things we can make better, or whatever. All right? Narada, I'll let you start off with this group, buddy.
All right. Well, first things to start, I'd like to know, just to get straight into the running, what are the aspirations for the teams, each of your teams this year? Spurs, probably, this is your first year taking over Spurs, yes, right? So you have a lot of pressure, one, to either maintain where you guys were and probably see if you're fit the title of coach for upcoming seasons. In terms of you, Mr. George, Queen's Park, is a big foundation, right? But they've moved up into the Premier Division now, right? So I guess there's also a certain amount of pressure there as to if you all not to come back down. And then with Mr. Morris, dealing with UTT, which is more academia, but having to now be in competitive football as well, and if the aspirations would be to go up. So I'll start with you, Mr. Hayes.
Actually, what we're trying to achieve in Sapaya, we're trying to achieve development, because my team is actually a young team. Okay. Players maybe, well, when I say young, is maybe under 23. Most of them, I have actually 5 players maybe over 25, 30.
Okay.
So I'm trying to develop young players into this professional attitude now. It is a hard one, but we gain there because the whole organization, whole staff members and management team is actually young people striving to make a brand so we could go forward and uplift maybe football in the country, or we could start just in South, and then we escalate into the whole national atmosphere,
Well, you have people here who will help you. I'm sure Clayton and these guys, or just a conversation. You might learn something.
Actually, behind the scene, he doesn't know. I know about him because actually, Prodigy is my best friend from kindergarten straight till
Okay,
now.
okay.
We went to school together, we play together, we do everything
So you
together.
know some secrets on.
You know, so
Right.
actually, yeah, when actually Perry Martin is his name, when he learned or go on tours with Mr. Morris, I will see, you know, big icon, you know, pleasure. Even my younger brother Lee Haynes,
Yeah,
who
Lee.
worked under him,
Yeah.
you know, when we sit down and we have these little talks about, you know, Clayton will do so and so, you know, why you will do that? You know, we get asked on that, why you do that? And we will try to get some answers and he say, yeah, but you know, for true, you know, he break up his team maybe structure-wise, he might just be doing something simple in a 10 by 20 grid and atmospheric back into the whole team now. And
So
you know,
they're talking about you, Clayton.
yes. It's a household name. It's a household name.
Okay, Jefferson,
Queen's Park.
you on the floor.
All right. Well, as you mentioned, Queen's Park doesn't really need an introduction. Right? It's a worldwide name. They're known for cricket, of course. I came into the picture together with Sean Cooper. Sean Cooper, who called me to assist him with the program, and we took over about 3 seasons ago, right, last year, having won promotion to the Premiership by virtue of winning the championship division.
Yeah.
Right.
You mentioned the pressure, and yes, there is pressure, but that pressure started, 3 seasons ago with the ambitions of the organization, right? Of course, an organization like Queen's Park, they have big aspirations of performing at the highest level of Trinidad and Tobago in football. The management believes that the best way to do so is by a sort of organic progression, right, through the different levels and qualify into what we have now as our professional league, right, rather than being able to, meet the qualifying standards, which now is just to get your financial backing and enter, right, which of course everybody believes Queen's Park can do. So that has been our aim. We've been working steadily towards that. Season started a bit slow for us in the Premiership with some injuries to key players, and but as I've been saying, it's quite a long season. It's actually, as a league, it's the most football that you're going to play in any league in Trinidad and Tobago right now. So there's quite a bit of football to play, and as I said, Queen's Park, that's what we are about, trying to develop and grow through the different phases to get to the highest level of football in Trinidad.
And it's not so much how you started, how you finish,
That's correct.
right? So just keep plugging away,
That's
buddy. Clayton.
Well, I'm trying to fill the shoes of Gally Cummins. I inherited the university high performance team from Gally Cummins 2 years ago.
Big shoes to fill.
Big
man.
shoes to fill.
Yeah?
Right. Well, last year was the first year the team played well in a recognized league. Since I took over in 2013, when I was there as part-time, right? Until 14 is when I came full-time. And last year was the first year we played in a league that is organized. Before that, the team was playing in the South Zone. Where it was really, really disorganized for the kind of resources that the universities put in behind these players, because the players who make up the team is the players who are they're on scholarship, right? The main reason there is they got the scholarship because of the footballing ability, right? I mean, they must have the academics. And last year was the first year we played in a league when after every game you get a report on social media or what have you. So that promoting the university. As Jefferson just said, they have a poor start. We had a poor start last year, and we had an excellent finish, and he could tell you, right? So this year, we want to start the way we finished last year, right? Unfortunately, we had 3 false starts, and because of our fault, it's because of the league. 'Cause as we speak, last night we had our final training before our first game tomorrow. When I reach home after I informed the guys what time to reach, I got an email that the game is cancelled. So you as a player, a former player, Steve, you know how players feeling, right? So, and I mean the guys were in to go. So, you know, I look forward for a really interesting season this year. You know, as I mentioned before with the discussion is that we have players, 8 of the players who are graduating out of the university who have been in the program for the past 3-4 years and who are really on the peak now to really go out there and, you know, maybe get a contract, you know, maybe a local professional team and then move on from there. So we have the opportunity of having them for another season, you know, and again, this is the opportunity for them to blossom so that they could move on. So I really look forward for a really interesting season here. And, you know, I can see us coming up in the first 3 this season.
Oh, good. Competitive. How competitive is your league, you guys think? Is it mediocre? Is it real competitive? What do you think? What do you think about your league?
Well,
the question.
For me, it is competitive, because across the country you see young players coming out of schools and the same challenge I had from the school level, the meeting up, you know, the friends, you know, teammates playing for the other clubs. So they want to prove a point, but they don't know the know-how now. In the way that after school, you just concentrate on school and football. But now you have to concentrate on family life where, you know, maybe youth bring youth into the world right now. So you have other things to look forward into. So the up and down, like I have to go and look for a job, then I have to run to training, then I have to concentrate on the game, or after the job I have to go and play the game. You know, so these little challenges. But competitive, I feel it's there, but we need to evolve it.
You have the younger group of players too, right?
Yes.
Right out of college. You like the bridge, the second tier to the Super League? Is that what you are?
Well,
No,
I am
in the Premiership
division. Yeah, Premiership. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he has a young team.
But you
I
have
just have a young team
Oh, I got you.
because of maybe the finances. You know,
Right.
older players seems to look forward to finance
Okay.
or payments. You know, so I mean, we could get wrong to a younger player by, hey, this is a stepping stone into the professional world.
Yeah.
So work hard here, get playing time, and move on.
And then move on, right.
Yes, I love the club, whatever you did. Eventually, when you reach where it is, the club will maybe benefit.
I bet you Jefferson and they don't have your problem. What problem you have? What do you think about it?
The league, whether it's competitive or not,
Okay, yeah.
the league is.
What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think it's a very competitive league. We do have some of the same challenges, but I believe that both the championship and the premiership division in the Super League, I believe they're very competitive. Right, we beat Prisons FC last season on the last game, final game.
I was now going to say
Right,
that.
final
Went to the
game.
end.
They needed a draw. We had to win. Right, last game, last day decision. You know, and that is how close it is.
That's how, like, yeah.
Right, in the Premiership last season, Palo Seco was out front for the first round. Right, and they ended up fighting off relegation, literally.
Yeah.
You know, so the league is extremely competitive. I think the wide range that you pick up during your Super League, you have what is really a natural home teams. You know, you have to go Matura to play, you have to go Guaya. You know, it's really, really competitive. And I mean, in situations like that, you then really have to experience a home team. To go and play a game now in Guaya with, you know, hundreds of people on the sideline, you know, it's a intimidating thing sometimes.
Right.
You know, so I really like the atmosphere it's created and the experience that these young players who aren't professionals yet, but getting a very good opportunity to spread their talent and to be exposed to a whole range of situations as they learn the game.
Clayton, you're scrambling to find your way up to these guys up here, right?
Well, to be honest, as Jefferson made that point, I remember last year one of the reporters asked, if we're looking forward to qualifying where they qualified, and I told them no, because I wanted the guys to get the exposure, because the first taste they were getting as this team at that level, so I wanted them to be exposed to it. So this year they know what to expect, and I think that you can't ask for nothing better. I think that is true development. So now they have that opportunity to go. Where I saw some teams, like even the Guaya team 1 year, they won out and they want to go to the Pro. You see Club Sando, they're going and they're struggling. So, you really need to take the players in stride. And sometimes when the team move on, some of the players you had with you, they move out. So then again, you're struggling. So I really look forward to this, the way I welcome, because last year, the first year, they introduced the championship division, and I welcome that because for the same thing, because some years ago, I remember Gali had where he was bridging the gap with players coming out of the secondary school to the adult football. And I think that championship is exactly that is what it is doing right now. So, I really look forward to it.
And then I just wanted to add on your point, because when the Super League, actually when UTT went in some years ago, they were actually one of the lower teams. They were struggling quite a bit because the gap was too big. When those guys get the scholarship, it was borderline relegation, every year. So I think the championship is really a fit where they have to fight for promotion, right? They're not too far off the premiership, but they have a little group that they could play in. And just to touch on with Queen's Park as well, I think, the Super League is really a developmental league. I think Queen's Park is also a product of that, because I had the opportunity to play with them for half a season years ago, and they were a North Zone team. We were playing in the Savannah, the same grass that everybody complains about, even though you were Queen's Park, so to speak. And to see that, after a few years that they constantly going up, when they could take, the shortcut, if you want to call it that. So I really think the Super League is really a developmental league to take the guys who come in straight out of high school, or maybe even returning from university, or whatever the case is, and play football before you get to that pro level. And what about players at the moment? I wanted to find out, because I know UTT, you had quite a few players that, later on in the season, you started off pretty weak, and then all of a sudden we had guys scoring 15, 20 goals. Well, what are some of each clubs? Do you have secret weapons?
Let me take a break and let you think about that, and you answer that when you come back. Viewers, we'll be right back after a short time.
Worldwide Safety Consultants Limited offers solutions to your immediate and future potential problem areas by providing you with a qualified team of safety consultants. Worldwide Safety Consultants Limited, building a reputation on quality and value since 1999. Located 23 Todd Street, San Fernando, Trinidad. Phone 868-657-1534 or 868-788-6955. worldwidesafety@yahoo.com.
Okay, welcome back, viewers. You tuned into Field of Dreams. Before the break, we were talking about the players,
some of the developmental
the
players.
Developmental with the Super League, and Clayton, you have to answer the question.
Yeah, well, we have Jamal Creighton, right? He, and it's clear last season with the first 7 games, the only striker we had in the team, and the first 7 games he was injured. And he came back, he played 11 games and he scored 22 goals. He came out, 2 players I think went up with 2 or 3 players, 22 goals. In 11 games he scored 22 goals. So that is one of the players, who really, has really made some strides, and more so we had clubs, Super League was vying for him to play with them, and he discussed it with me, and I told him, well, this is what we want, but I think to be fair to the university, at least if we still in a league at that level, or well, I mean it's a lower level, I still feel you should give the university, at least give back something, and I did get the opportunity to go to the higher level management and explain to them, that here it is, we have these players, these students who came to the program and they're graduating, we have the team, and they're looking to move on, and I think if they move on, we wouldn't really have the force that we have, we expected, and to give the university the recognition, and what have you. And I spoke to him and he decided we hold on. I also give him another aspect, yes, Jamal, you're skillful, you're scoring goals. I said, but then you have to think about you're going into another team, you have to get to know these players. Will these players be, give you the kind of pass or the balls you need to score, because you didn't score all the goals by yourself, and all these things you could consider. He also mentioned to me, Coach, do you feel if playing in this league, I could get a call to the national team? I said yes. So these are the, the discussion, and I think this gives him the confidence, which, will help him to develop even more.
I would rather talk about you guys, the developmental league, and obviously to the pro league you're talking about. You guys feel that way? And don't you feel like your league is stronger than they are?
That's a very good point, Steve, because my issue, long-standing issue with the professional league is that the current pro league model doesn't fit our society. It's not a fit. Okay, it's existing in a vacuum, and as it is, it's not sustainable. Right? It may be a little controversial, but when you take it down to the aspect, we are into the 17th season. We'll be going into the 17th season, right, of what we call professional football.
Right.
And in any job situation, if we look at it in that way, you would expect that with inflation and all these, rising in costs that individuals have to bear, that at least minimally salaries or wages remain the same. And it has actually been the opposite. Salaries has dropped tremendously from when the league has started, the first 3 seasons to now. And my concern is, players who I would have played with, they play, they give their all and get very little in return. And that has been always my concern. So when I say the pro league model doesn't work, what we have at the Super League level now, you have the opportunity for players to refine their skill. You can get experience by playing, but it doesn't. You don't sacrifice your life. You don't sacrifice your earning. In a society like ours, it is impossible, and I would challenge anybody on this to have a team that would be sustained purely by football or earnings from football, and that has been one of the things that I've looked at. I'm actually trying to put some numbers together right now to show it, but it's to me it doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit.
How do you feel, Clayton, about that?
I support that, because I remember, as Jefferson was speaking, my mind went back at Petrotrin when I was there. And when the team came back out for the second reign of United Petrotrin, I had the opportunity to make an input. And my thing was that the players, be given employment with an employee number, you know, and not be so much of the full professional, because as he said, I saw that long time where professional football cannot really last in Trinidad, well, football in Trinidad and Tobago. And I mean, it came to pass where the team is no more, and all these guys who played, they're on the street hustling, you know, so to speak, they're hustling, you know. So again, I would always go for this Super League or the semi-professional model where the players could earn a living elsewhere, you know, and as he said, you don't have to throw everything in it. Yes, we want, as coaches, we want when they come, they give you their all on the field, you know, but at the same time, it mustn't be the wherewithal and the only thing that they're surviving on.
How you feel, Anthony?
Yeah, I totally agree with Mr. Morris, because I'm a part of that, because while playing football, even with Petrochan, where I was playing my professional career, one of the clubs, I didn't think after football I'd have been going somewhere else to look for a job and do something. And then I had a big span to settle down. So the Pro League is one thing you have to be motivated for your own self to play. You know, and I give hats off to players who play in it. But corporates and owners and things, I do think they understand from players' perspective. You know? And this is one of the things I really just think about, like, I may want to come down on certain players because at my club, because they're not making the effort to come to training. But then I have to understand where there lies with players now coming out from a job at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock to run a session for 6, and maybe an hour, 45 minutes to reach to my session, then to settle in to do it. You know, so it's just a little challenge with the Super League. It's not dependent on football, but you have a job coming into it. Maybe a better understanding, but the Pro League, as let's say, it's depending on your skill on your football, and it not giving back, it not adding up to that standard. I think we could revamp the league and ask for help wherever. You know, it have people who went out on these professional contracts, and we have even legends of the game all around. You know, the Clayton Morris, the Dexter Francis in my area. You know, I try to work with them and ask them certain recognition of how we go about doing certain things, and stop being well cocky in the way that I can run this league, and let's all make a effort together, and I think football will go somewhere.
Okay. Jefferson, you're itching to say something.
Yeah, if I can, because it is difficult to admit or to concede because of, I think, the view that a lot of us had when the professional league started. I was there from the start, from 1999, and as a 19-year-old, it was a dream for me, you know, to play at home, you know, at that time in the initial, when the Pro League started.
Stadium was full.
You had 8,000 people, 9,000 people in Garga Park, you know what I mean? Army versus W Connection, Joe Public versus Chablote. Those were, the Marvin Lee Stadium was full, right? But where are we 17 or, you know, 16 years later? And that's my question. So we have to do some hard thinking about it, and it doesn't make sense. You have a league that started with 12 teams. Now you're struggling to get 8 teams, you know? And for me, I'm saying within a society like ours, we're still trying to cookie cut and take a model from somewhere else and think it's going to work here. And I think enough time has elapsed to see it's not going to work. It is not going to work. And that in itself isn't a death sentence by any means. But you need to remodel. You need to look at what is working. I think there are a lot of things that are working well at the Super League. And that doesn't mean that the one team owner might decide, I want my players all professional. That's no problem. Right? No problem. So your players are professional, right? Even the other clubs who would probably see players, if we use the Super League model and you have corporate Trinidad taking some of the responsibilities for wages, which is the biggest chunk of any team's budget, then that team can decide, okay, I'm going to play probably 3 or 4 players, because then the team isn't bearing the whole burden of the salaries, because players are employed. And the players themselves, which I think is the most important thing, they are being able to well take care of themselves, right? Because when we look at it, and we could call some numbers now, $4,000 and $5,000, it does nothing for an adult at this, where we are. And that is the reality that is facing us in the professional league. And I think it's very unfortunate that, you know, I feel for the players, because I was there. You know, I played and I gave myself till 25. Actually, at 24, I was done, because you're looking at it and you're seeing, this is not going to serve me well, you know, afterwards. You know, I had the opportunities, you know, Italy, Germany, England, didn't work out. Okay, let me look to build something that can be sustainable. And that's it. Now, the players are not always able to see that. And that's why I'm saying we as people who are concerned with football should be able to say, okay, let's create something that will allow players who contribute so much to the game, right? But these are players who would have played for your national team, who represent their communities and so. And I think in this model that we have, we're setting them up to fail in life, you know? That's my concern.
Yeah, Clayton.
If I could ask Jeffrey, what do you think caused the stadium to be filled in those days, the early days of the Pro League?
That's a good question. And I think the choice of venues. Now, when we had the stadium being built for the Youth World Cup, in my humble view, I thought only one of those were properly placed in a community that had the infrastructure around it. I'm talking about transport, easy transportation, right, and so on, right? Malabar now, a community has been constructed around the stadium now, and it's still very difficult to go to if you have to commute to there, right? We had venues, and of course, this would be probably the political side of it. We had venues like Skinner Park, which is it is in the city. Taxis from every which way pass right in front there, you know. And if you look at some of the international venues, and these are the things probably we should try to bring in, and how they are situated, you know. In England, the West Ham Stadium is just train stop, most of them. You jump on the train and you jump out of your stop and you head onto the stadium.
Well, everybody has a car now, so they can get everywhere. I mean, I think the players, I think the product on the field.
That is where now, that is the point I come into, Steve. This is the point I'm coming to, because now, I try to instill to the players that I coach now, you got to market yourself.
Yeah.
Now, what I noticed with these players who we call professional in Trinidad and Tobago, George, if I could see you playing in Barterra in a minor league, why must I come in the stadium and pay and see you play?
Correct.
You understand what I'm saying? These same players, Steve, who he said playing in the Pro League, as professional, you've seen them in all the minor leagues. So why must
let me jump into the players' defense. Let me jump into the players' defense right here.
One of the problems,
right? Because for the same reason I just mentioned, after you play in Barataria, you get $300 in your pocket. No, you are there saying with your righteous self, hey, don't do that, you know?
Yeah.
But
they get paid to do it?
Exactly. Yeah. You're not living his life, you know? And yes, there needs to be discipline. He needs to understand I have a contract and I can't do it. But we must also understand the circumstances which create that. The same way he's going in Barataria, on the side of the field, crowded. My whole family there, everybody, the whole community is there. In the stadium, you could hear the echo of the ball when they play because there's nobody in the stadium. You know, the echo comes back to you.
I think at the community level, especially playing in the minor leagues and things, as a professional player, you feel more wanted there. The team you're playing for, it treats you as, hey, this is my hero. And when they go back to the professional club, we don't understand the atmosphere now, because players has been being donged, you know. The same thing with salary being paid, The same thing with making me act as a professional. It doesn't get it. But the community-based teams across the country, if you realize, is the teams who always do very, very well.
All right, let's stop beating them up now. Let's switch gears.
I was going to go into something, that I think, what is the support base for the teams like? For example, Siparia, you have a community of Siparia. Queen's Park, it's I don't want to say a fraternity, but it is, an establishment. And then UTT, you have a university. So there's technically three different demographics there. What is the support like and, the following like for each of you with the teams? Do you have to answer to the public, that support your team? How are the players feel? Do they feel part of a certain organization?
Well, at Siparia, the support is there because, well, once you're winning in Siparia, they're happy. That's how Siparia. Anyway, you're winning, you're happy. The day you have a little downfall, they turn and watch it. I know that team wasn't good. That is we culture in Siparia. Okay. You're way up, you're going with it. You're down, we mashing you down.
So, and in terms of percentage of your players, how many players from the Siparia area?
Well, 75% of the players from there.
So they have to answer to the man on the street.
Yes. So my biggest motivation for players to win games, actually, or to develop themselves into better players, is actually, hey, Mr. Man, when I drop out of the bus in the community, a man will be waiting to ask you what's going on with the game, And I don't want every Sunday night to be down-spirited by a man tell you, you're telling somebody, a supporter, we lost, I say, it happened with me, and I used to play, I started my career playing with Arima Fire, and when I reached the Fire, a man don't know, a supporter don't know the game finished, hey, what's going on to the game, boy? I used to actually drop out of the taxi and run straight across the Mary Street. I don't want to see nobody. So I bring that back from my relation playing into this. Hey, you want to develop, you want to play good, even though we go down,
All right.
apart.
I'm to the point I need to take a break, but when we come back, I want to get into the challenges you guys have as coaching in the Super League, if there's any, and so on and so on. So we can talk about what you really are for, you coaches, right? And not administrative people to bring people into the stand. Viewers, will be right back after the show.
Worldwide Safety Consultants Limited offers solutions to your immediate and future potential problem areas by providing you with a qualified team of safety consultants. Worldwide Safety Consultants Limited, building a reputation on quality and value since 1999. Located 23 Todd Street, San Fernando, Trinidad. Phone 868-657-1534 or 868-788-6955. worldwidesafety@yahoo.com.
Okay, viewers, we'd be right back, like I said, with the coaches going to tell us about the challenges that they have, if any, coaching in the Super League.
Well, for me, challenges is like, players being like consistent. Like 1 minute we up, 1 minute we down, and the way that maybe preparation-wise, not getting the time to prepare for the weekend's game, because actually I could only have facilitated maybe 3 sessions for the week.
Because of what?
Because of maybe players working work-wise,
right?
And they're getting time off from the jobs,
right?
Because these corporates doesn't understand what sports does to our community, or what sports does to an individual. Meaning that I could facilitate and say, well, hey, maybe half an hour of my time, maybe I could give that back to the community as maybe a sponsor or.
So your challenge is getting the players to training on time.
Yeah, to training on time.
And you couldn't move your training to nights?
Yes. In some instances, because actually the constitution of Superior, it have a lot of, I say, little pulling and tugging with who to use the ground and
Okay, you have field issues.
You know, field issues and then lighting. Maybe the lights used to come off at 9. And,
I understand.
You know, so these little things develop into bigger problems.
Queen's Park don't have that problem.
Queen's Park apparently have no problems. We should be on top of the league then.
What are the challenges you have, if you have any?
Well, actually, as a coach coming from a full-time or professional environment, it was extremely difficult for me getting involved. The first season I was at Queen's Park, we played in the North Zone as well, and it took me some time to get adjusted to, you know, players not being there, players not showing up on time, you know, before you could understand that, hey, this guy's coming from work now, you know, and it took time to adjust. Things are a lot better now and a lot more organized, although that remains a challenge in terms of, just as Heen said, you know, some players, they may work shift, some players may work, we have a couple of players working offshore as well. You know, so sometimes even for the games, they are unavailable because they're not there. So it's a different framework in terms of the way you put your sessions together, the way you put your team together, because it's not full-time, and that must always be in the back of your mind. While we say that, you know, it's always on us to encourage them, to remind them of their responsibility to the organization which they represent, so that when you take the field, regardless of what your challenges are during the week, you can present a good product, you know. So,
Clayton?
A cricket pitch.
You have no challenges at UTT. You need a cricket pitch on your field?
Yeah, all our training fields are equipped with cricket pitches.
We played back in the day. We played.
Yeah, but then if cricket playing, what do you do?
Huh?
Yeah.
What do you do if cricket is in season?
Oh yeah, I
Right,
understand.
so
that.
that's a challenge. And then on an evening you have, well, I mean, cricket finished when about a month and a half ago.
Okay.
On an evening you have 30, 35 players. You know, so it's difficult to get things done. And even now, you know, when the rain start to fall here, the surface on our home ground in O'Meara is not like the normal savanna grass. So, you know, it's a challenge. And then we have a ground at Ekiav that is on the end of the runway in Piaco there. They decided they want to prepare the cricket pitch for next year. So they dig up the cricket pitch. So again,
You have too many fields.
you know,
that's a good problem to have, eh? And too many players, 35 players.
yeah, and then we have one right here, San Fernando Tech, with also equipped with a cricket pitch,
Okay.
right? But again, sometimes, you know, you have problem with it getting prepared for the training session, and then most of the players come from Northeast. So then here is not equipped with lights, so then you can have a 6 o'clock training, you know. So basically that's the only challenge we have at the moment with respect to you know, preparing the team.
The players themselves that you guys coach, do you get from them what you expect? You know, you give them the instructions, they go out and they perform, or how you feel?
Steve,
The
that is, you see, again, what I realize, you know, as a coach, most of the times you're trying to undo bad habits.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to undo bad habits. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, to answer your question, yes, you would tell them what you want, and they will do it once or twice, and then that just going through the window because the bad habits continue to overrule the thing. But only thing to counteract that is repetition.
Right.
Right?
Time.
So what I do now, as I said, we have the walk-on players who are this level, and then you have the scholarship guys. So I take one evening and work with the scholarship guys where I specialize on, you know, working on the technical aspect. So you could stop them and say, no, this is the way to. No, they would do it. And then when they join back up with the other group and they see the other guys doing it to themselves, what coach telling me? You know, but then the guys may be doing it that way, but they already have, and they could put the flair because they know exactly what they're doing. But these guys really don't know the basic. You know, take it, they're 25 years and they've never been taught the basic. You know, so to come back to your point again, will they do what you say? Yes, they will do it once or twice. And sometimes they don't even take it to the game, take what you're showing them in the game, because sometimes you may say, right, receive the ball with your leg open to keep the defender off. What coach telling me therefore, they would put their foot, stop the ball here, and then the defender, and the game you come now, when you do it, the guy take the ball. You know, so it's, as I said, is more of trying to undo bad habits.
In all cases?
I think it would be in all cases because, as Clayton explained, that problem, yes, you may take it as an indictment against the player, but it's has a lot to do as well with our structure, our system. The things that you would have to, as you say, a 25-year-old, the things you'd have to tell that player you expect him to already have, or he should already have, if he came out of an organized structure of football, where those things are taught at, you know, the very basic level, even simple things like not just technique, but basic game understanding in terms of understanding space, how to use space when you're attacking, how to deny it when you're defending. And these are the things that you find you're having to tell adult players. You know, it shouldn't be, but that is our reality.
It's the reality.
It is.
Yeah.
You know, as a player and in Trinidad, nobody told me what to do, what they expected me on the game. But as a professional, they do. The coach would come to each individual player. This is what I expect from you on this game. And so I know exactly what they want me to do. And even, but back here, nobody really told me that. So I'm asking you, do you take your players, tell them specifically, the team needs this from you, and you go to the other one, the team needs this from you today, and the team needs that from you today. So they know, because you can't expect them to perform what you didn't tell them, what they don't know, or what you didn't ask them to do. So how do you handle that?
Well, it must be done in training.
Yeah, training.
Because I see coaches shouting whole game. A coach will stand for 90 minutes shouting, then it means that you didn't do your work in training. Because if you have to be standing up 90 minutes shouting at the players, then you didn't do your homework.
So maybe we're approaching it wrong?
Yeah, because not actually the coaches, I would say, but I think we ought to start from the tender age and bring back the academy back into football in Trinidad and Tobago. If we don't start from that level, we wouldn't get players at our level, what meaning that coaching players in the Super League and the Professional League. We'll always look back and say, but you know, the fundamentals, he don't know the fundamentals. So what I does now, if I have to say 20 times in the session that, hey, receive the ball and open out. As a wing back, open out. I will do it because they actually do not know it. So to get it embedded into the brain and to the body, I will try to do concentration drills all the time. And I do try to move on into a next drill until I get some sort of comfort. And that will bring consistency then. So I say from the academies, I can coming right up into the U10, U12, going right up, we need to concentrate here in order for us to really excel and play us at this level.
I'm just going back to the question you asked in terms of the instructions given. I think you mean as per game.
Per game.
Before a game, you give instructions. Well, Coach Cooper, who I work with, the privilege to work with, he is very detailed. And I think that's a very good way to get players understanding one thing. So even the instruction that they're given, yes, it is given to every player, that he understands his role or what is expected of him on that particular day. Right? Of course, that information is given in the presence of the others. So even your teammates know what you are supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
You know, so that they can give correction while they are on the field as well. And I think that's, I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of coaches, and I believe that most of our top coaches work in that manner, where they would give specific instructions for players on any given day. And to answer your question in terms of do players carry it out, I think more times than not you get players attempting to do that, given their limitations.
In the locker room, you guys can reverse it. I'm just throwing this out for you as coaches as well. You can reverse it. Says, okay, Clayton, what is your job today? What are you going to do to help your team today? Let him tell in front of everybody, right? And you can go down the line with each player, so they know exactly what they're supposed to do, and they've had the instructions.
Yeah, so you get feedback from them, so you know, so you test to see if there's learning is taking place.
What about your team philosophy and style? I mean that starts at the training ground. So actually on the game, I don't think I could tell you as much will make you affect the game than you're already going and do. You know, it might just be one or two little pointers, but I think at my team, I try to do that in training ground, my philosophy, the style, what we want to achieve. So on a weekend, I mean, it's just your time. It might just a little one or 2 pointers, as I said. Hey, that and
I think that's what we do in the locker room. We say, all right, this is what the team. We talk about how the team is going to play, but we don't talk to individuals on what we expect from them.
Yeah.
And then so I could go on. If it doesn't work, team breakdown. As an individual. So, what do you think, Narada?
Yeah, no, I believe that's the job of the coach. You know, I think, as he said, maybe on the field there are certain things you can't prepare for, so you may have to tweak here and there because you may not have expected a particular player to play. You know, the field conditions may not. But I think, you know, talking to each player individually, because it's sort of, you know, you could get the best out of him because you're highlighting what are his good attributes.
Strengths, yes.
You know, and he himself now believes at least, even if he had 2-3 weak parts of him, at least you're just highlighting the good, so he knows, hey, at least coach knows I'm best header on the team. I'm going to go out there and try to score a goal with my head, you know, if that would be his focus. But as a coach, you know, my question would be, what legacy do you all want to leave? Even if, you know, because I know coaches' tenure could change, next year you could leave. If each of you could give a brief what it is you would like to implement on your team this season, you know, whether they win or lose, but just what you want to instill in them just for the season 2016.
And we have 3 minutes, so we have a minute each for each of you.
Well,
Make it brief.
For me, is attitude, once towards the game, and to see a well-playing ball team, you know, good structure, and a style, the identity then. That is Anthony Haynes, answer pass Spurs. We play side to side, down center, move around the ball well, finish.
Okay.
Yeah, I think at Queen's Park, with the coaches, we look to see that the players improve in their game understanding, being able to adjust tactically, being able to read situations properly, and apply, you know, themselves correctly in the game.
Okay.
My thing is organization, because before my game, I do structure work so that each player sees where we would say talk. Each player sees which one each one has to do, and as Haynes identify,
Anthony?
you must see Clayton Morris in the approach.
No other departing words, buddy?
For me, you know, the guys seem to believe in the Super League, and I hope it continues, and I hope the relevant bodies, you know, make a decision on where they think it should go. And I wish you guys all the best for the season. Clayton, hopefully to come up, if that is the aspirations, or the top 3. And you guys have a battle on your hands, right? Face each other well, disciplined, and, you know, see who comes out on top. But it was a pleasure being here.
Who is leading between you two?
He's leading.
Superior ahead?
Yeah.
As I said, it's a long season.
So,
Both of them on.
But we actually play from the second round.
South. You know, the South teams are always better, right? Of course, man. All right, we've come to the end of another edition of Field of Dreams. Again, you're watching Axe Television Network. We do this every Monday night from 8 to 9 p.m. and we repeat on a Tuesday at 1 p.m. I want to thank Axe Television Network for giving us the opportunity. Thank you, viewers, for tuning us in every Monday night. Keep doing it. We are glad to have you, and we thank you so much to the panel. Guys, I want to thank you guys so much. I thought I've learned everything, but every time you guys teach me something new and more. And I've got to continue to learn from you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
Narada, as usual, buddy, thank you.
It was a pleasure to be here.
Family, we come to the end of the show. Keep the faith, you know, keep tuning in, keep watching us. The show is ended. Go in peace. I see you guys next week. Good night.